Hollywood, experienced referee. Zoe Harrison, experienced fly half. I think that goes without saying. And there we go then, underway here at StoneX Stadium. That one goes long from Harrison, taken well on that far side by Worcester. Lydia Thompson, an early touch for her. And Mattinson just steadies herself, readying herself for a first long booming clearance kick. And that one taken well by Viervas. And there's McKenna, first touch for the fullback. A nice offload to Viervas, and Viervas goes hunting, gets the hands free. Brilliant run there. And there's Mackenzie Carson into Fee McIntosh. Brilliant interplay. May Campbell still going. 5 metres out, Saracens already. An advantage coming as well. And Harrison takes it herself, nearly through the gap, Zoe Harrison, but the penalty advantage still there. And now the forwards in where they want to be. Poppy Cleo taking control.
This is where our power players should step up now. Get over that line.
Let's see what Saracens can do then. They're hunting. No advantage coming though as Kelsey Clifford looked to go towards the line. But we'll come back for that penalty. 5 metres out from the Worcester line, and a really, really good start there from Saracens, and the hands working really well, especially after last week.
Yeah, it's great to see that we're getting it out and getting them offloads on to our powerful forwards and taking it in.
Saracens then going to the corner with this one. Well, they've changed their minds. They were going to go for the corner. Instead, they're going for the quick tap. And a clever play in and around, and a try.
No doubt she was getting over that line there with Kelsey Clifford, scoring on her 50th cap. Well done. There's no doubt she was getting over there with her power and speed coming onto that ball.
Fantastic play there, and we've seen it so many times already this season, the men's game and the women's game. Some real ingenuity around those quick tap penalties 5 metres out, and we saw it again from Saracens there, didn't we? That clever little wrap round the back from Cleo to Clifford to power over.
Yeah, it'd be good to see them brought back into the game. These driving mauls are, you know, it's a bit boring now, I reckon. Let's get them power players over.
I'm sure you say it's a bit boring. May Campbell, I think, might disagree with you there. It's where she seems to get most of her tries. Harrison then, easy conversion, and it's 7-0 to Saracens, and a fantastic start after 2.5 minutes.
I only think it's boring because I never get the scores, to be fair.
Well, your time will come, Donna, I'm sure. Worcester haven't really had a chance to touch the ball so far. And they're already setting themselves up for the restart. That one taken by Louise McMillan. How much good work has she done since arriving in the summer already, Louise McMillan? There's Georgia Evans back in a Saracens starting shirt today and looking right up for this.
It's good to see Georgia back in a 6 shirt, to be honest. She's a back rower but been playing in the second row, and even though I love having her behind me, she's a back rower definitely.
Aitchison thought she might have been able to grab the ball there if not for a slightly awkward bounce of the rugby ball. And a clever kick in over the top from Worcester Warriors, fielded by Harrison, but advantage with the Warriors. And they'll come back for the penalty then. Offside, Saracens call there, and a really good opportunity, Donna, now for Worcester just to get into that Saracens half and try and build some phases.
Yeah, they've been getting their kicks through this season, so I think they will be getting in a half, and I think, yeah, I'm excited for this. Let's see what they bring.
Well, that's a decent nudge there, and Worcester are up towards that 22-metre line. And a first opportunity to see what they can do. Good first line out there. Mattison gets that one away to Hannah Bluck in the centres. And Worcester building the phases here, looking hungry, but then it's intercepted by Georgia Evans, but offside again, and another penalty for Worcester. And no doubt this one will go back into the corner, and the Warriors will see what they are able to do again from the line out. Decent nudge there into touch, 10 or 15 metres out. And Lana Skeldon then, she was absolutely on the money with that first dart, on the money again with the second, and now Worcester look to set the drive. And Saracens doing well to disrupt, but the Warriors away again, starting to make decent headway now. Poppy Cleo making a nuisance. It is brilliant defence, and Marley Packer's over the top there. Has she managed to get a turnover for her side? She has. Superb work from Packer, and there's May Campbell charging away. And Saracens then back to Harrison. Charge down though.
That was a great charge down.
Fantastic charge down. You can see those long levers there from, it was Cara Brinkert getting herself up and putting good pressure on Harrison, and Worcester keeping Saracens where they want them at the moment.
I bet that hurt.
What one do you reckon hurt more, that one or Leanne Infante's charge down to the face last week? Good line out though from Saracens. And Harrison will have a second bite of the cherry here. That one, much better. And Mattison, it goes through the legs and she has to chase it back. And Corinne Grant up there to make the tackle, but Mattison looks to get it away to Paige Farries. That one though has drifted forwards. And in the end, a really, really good escape from Saracens from a threatening position. Scrum time then, and let's see what happens here. Two packs going at it. Donna, when I did a game with Christian Judge earlier in the season, he laughed and said, let's be honest, everybody comes to watch the scrums. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I'm here watching the scrums. It's my thing. It's my thing.
Definitely your thing. Not Hollywood's thing though. They're not happy with how that one was set up. And it'll be a second opportunity for Ella Viervas to put the ball in.
Just a shout out to Mackenzie here. This is a second or third game at Loosehead. Coming in and learning a new trade is tricky, as I came in from number 8. She's going to be a great number 1.
We talk about those transitions between positions a lot in the women's game, but for Mackenzie Carson, like you said, a brilliant back row player, brilliant in open play as well, and showing that. Well, looking at this scrum here, definitely showing what she can do in the front row. That ball then to Aitchison, inside ball to McKenna, but she stopped well originally. And Evans with the carry again. And again, Saracens happy to put boot to ball. Farries has that one just come off her fingertips. It has. She has to go chasing back. Clears herself, but only into the middle of the field. Picked up by Zoe Harrison. Now there is space on that left-hand side, and Harrison set off inside ball to Corinne Grant. Saracens making great headway now up to the 22 again. There's Georgia Evans. Ella Viervas then. May Campbell with the carry. Harrison. And Lottie Clapp popping up in midfield, eventually just puts her head down, looks to get the offload away. It's gone backwards, but then it's fumbled on the floor and dived on by Mattison, and the opportunity for Saracens goes. Good hustle from Worcester. Flo Long there helping to protect the ball. And a decent nudge away, but again, only as far as Sarah McKenna. There is space. I can see you calling left, left, left on her. Let's see what happens. The kick's gone. It's just bobbled and round. And Harrison gets it away to Aitchison, who pops it inside to May Campbell. Not as clean as Saracens would have wanted. But they're still on the attack, and Georgia Evans wrapped up hard there in the contact by Abby Kershaw.
This defence by Worcester's great. They're coming off that line there.
Packer then shows, goes. There is space here. The pass from Gregson just goes over the top of Corinne Grant's hands, and Worcester get that one away. You're right, Donna. Unbelievable defence from Worcester, because Saracens were throwing everything they had at them there.
Saracens are more hungry this game. I think they've learnt their lesson. But Worcester had a good shift there.
You look at that kick through there from Sarah McKenna, just one bounce away from sitting up perfectly for Harrison. Campbell, that one is stolen at the front by the Warriors. And now they look to set them all. Mackenzie Carson making a nuisance of herself, and it's free ball. But it is a penalty against Worcester, so for Worcester I should say, and it's taken quickly by Mattison, but too quickly for the referee. We'll come back for that penalty. Good composure shown by the Warriors again there, and despite Saracens being ahead on the scoreboard, Worcester haven't really put a foot wrong so far. Focusing in there on Hannah Bluck as that line out goes slightly too quickly for the referee. Really good abrasive ball carrier in the centres for the visitors. And that line out, a let off for Saracens, not straight in the end. And it'll be a scrum again. And Donna, we're straight back into one of your favourite things on a rugby field.
Love a scrum.
Ella Viervas then with her hands on the ball. Little view there of Juan Fagalo on the sideline. Chippy, as he's known at Saracens. Nice interplay from Aitchison to Harrison, and there's space here, and McKenna breaking free and feeding Lossie Clapp. Clapp puts her foot down, breaks through the first tackle. Lydia Thompson hauls her to ground, but Viervas is there quickly. The pass, though, to Marley Packer is disrupted well, and Packer having to fight to get to ground, and Poppy Cleo comes away with it now. Viervas thinks she's been played there without the ball, but play on. And May Campbell tidies that one up. Back in possession now, Viervas, and Harrison out the back to Aitchison. And there's Mackenzie Carson. Fantastic line there from the converted prop. And Harrison just searching for opportunities, and she's found Sarah McKenna. And McKenna's got loads of space, and she's into the 22. And Viervas back to Evans again. And Aitchison this time at first receiver to May Campbell. What a line from May Campbell.
What a line.
Kat McNamee, though, does brilliantly to pull her to ground at the last minute. But Saracens 5 metres out, hunting for the ball. Time off, though. Campbell staying down after that carry. That one looks like it's her knee.
It gives me the ick.
Definitely gives you the ick. Fingers crossed for May Campbell, but that was some line from the hooker there, Donna.
That was a great line. I thought she was going to score that.
I think you've got to give credit as well to that last tackler as well, though, to see where Campbell was angling herself for the step. We look at it here. Brilliant, brilliant line off of Aitchison. Brilliant flat pass from Aitchison, and Campbell was away. You can see McNamee fighting to get over there, and in the end it was Lydia Thompson, actually, that made the tackle.
Yeah, that was a great cover tackle there.
May Campbell still down on the floor, and obviously the medical team quite rightly taking as much time as possible. The subs warming up below us. Jodie Retty may be called into action sooner rather than later.
I really hope she's just banged it on this hard ground. I really hope it's no more than that.
Oh, fingers crossed. 13 minutes or so into this game then, Donna, you can see Juan Fagalo going through some instructions there on the pitch. How would you assess how this has gone as Campbell gets back to her feet and back into the action?
Yeah, we're looking back to our ways. We're looking hungry for the ball. Marley's over the balls again. But Worcester's doing a good shift in defence here.
Let's see what happens then. We'll restart with a penalty for Saracens. May Campbell back to her feet. Looks happy and content to continue for the moment at least. And that one, another wraparound. This time it's Marley Packer coming on at pace. She's stopped well on the gain line, but then Louise McMillan. Louise, the call from Donna. And a fantastic try again from the second row, her third in Saracens colours. She joked after the DMP game that her mates were telling her she needed to reach out and actually dive properly for the line. Well, we saw that there. And that was just, again, a really good hard line and really, really clever play to see where the try line was and reach out.
Every time she scores, I say to her in the changing room, just before she scores, you're going to score today, you're going to have a really good game. And today I didn't get to see her, but Louise, this is for you, and I knew you were going to do that.
Brilliant pickup as well, actually, because Worcester had done really well to defend that first initial carry from Packer, but it's just a disguise on it. And we look at the replay here, McMillan just gets her hand, sees the gap, goes straight through, and Brinkett's not able to stop her, and she reaches out superbly.
Yeah, that's clever play, looking up, seeing that gap and taking it.
Zoe Harrison then, no mistake from the tee. It's 14-0 to Saracens, and they'll be really pleased with that. 14 minutes on the clock, 14 points, 2 tries, and 2 really clever tries from quick tap penalties. Back underway then, and that one isn't what Saracens would have wanted. Spilt forwards, and Worcester, that one's then lost forward by them, but a scrum for the Warriors, a good outcome for them. And it's that old adage, isn't it, of as soon as you've scored a try, you need to keep your composure and clear your lines, and accuracy just lacking a little bit there for Saracens.
You rarely see that, Marley dropping that ball. I think the sun must have been in her eyes.
Another scrum then. This time it's a Worcester put-in note, and Mattison.
This loose head here is taking Kelsey's chest. Kelsey's leaving it open, and that loose head is taking it all day long.
Carmen Trenneling there displaying the dark arts in the front row, but Worcester have the ball though, and Paige Farries does brilliantly actually there in the end to stay in play after a huge shot coming in from Saracens. It was Sarah McKenna with that shot. An advantage for Worcester as well, then back up on the Saracens 22. Kershaw gets that one out. The ball's fumbled forwards, but we'll come back for the penalty, and it's just the response that Worcester would have wanted. Into touch then from the Warriors. Probably would have wanted a little bit more distance on that one if they're being honest with themselves, but line out has been going well so far, and they did look like they were motoring a little bit last time they got the ball. Let's see what they do this time then. That first phase was really good. That first part was good. Lana Skeldon then with her hands on the ball at the back. Mattison hands on hips, content to let her pack go to work. Saracens though marshalling it really well, and Farries picks up, but Farries has found a brilliant line, and Farries is straight through. Worcester on the board.
Great, that was a great try.
Brilliant try, and what a stunning line from Paige Farries.
Great vision there. Saracens had great defence there. They're all low. It's driving ball these days is more like a scrum. You've got to get low and really hold your feet.
Oh, let's look at it here. Mattison to Farries, and she picked it up straight behind, saw where the dog leg was, and by the time Marley Packer had realised what was happening, Farries was away and gone. Look at it here again. She just picked it up, sees that space, backs her pace, and a really, really clever finish from the Canadian international. Worcester then line up the conversion. That one just drifts to the right of the post, so it's 14-5, 17 minutes on the clock. And you have to say, Donna, Saracens have done really well with the opportunities they've had, but Worcester's defence has been so solid. They've got themselves into those positions, and scoreline at the moment is probably a fair reflection of the game.
Yeah, I think Saracens, you know, we're coming out fighting, but we're making them silly errors by maybe giving them gaps to spot and run through. Letting them hold us in a driving ball. You've got to get your head out of there and get back in that line.
Back underway then, Katie Mattison with her hands on the ball. And then gets that one away, but to Sarah McKenna only. And there is space for Saracens. Corinne Grant having a look, seeing where the space is. Corinne Grant has made that first break. That's brilliant from Corinne Grant. Eventually hauled to ground, and then a loose ball, but it's still in Saracens' hands, and there's Carson. Harrison fizzes that one off to Marley Packer.
It was a great hit there.
It's a brilliant hit on her. You can see Worcester really targeting those big
really
ball carriers. And again, a flat ball out to May Campbell. Flo Long manages to drag her down, and big shot coming in on Sydney Gregson. I heard the wall from you there, Donna. And Virvas in the end forced to kick through. That one dribbles into touch in the 22. And again, Worcester, as we said, targeting those big ball carriers and making really, really clever and sensible decisions around the tackle area.
Yeah, that was a clever decision to put her down there, because you know if she tipped Sydney there, that would be a card. But she's cleverly just put her back down on her feet and put her on the floor carefully.
Carefully being the key word there. Time off then with a Worcester player down, receiving a little bit of treatment. Just Corinne Grant there with that break. We saw that replay a few moments ago. Getting a real good run of games this season in a Saracens shirt, and really showing what she can do. Really pacey, really attacking. Was out at the World Cup with Scotland. Sadly didn't get any minutes. But again, another, you wouldn't say undiscovered gem, because she's been around the squad for a while, but a player that's really taken her opportunity.
Absolutely. She's really taken her opportunity in the last couple of games. She's really stood up. She's really impressed me. She's great.
There's a number of players like that this season that have come through and shown what they can do. Corinne Grant, Sharifa Kasolo, who's on the bench today, and then a couple of those younger players that have had to become experienced heads whilst the likes of yourself, Donna, and all the other internationals have been away on World Cup duty.
I think that's what's great about the World Cup and us having a cup while the World Cup's happening. It's giving them the younger ones to really step up and put their hands up for the shirts for the Premiership.
Line out then successful from the Warriors. That one was pretty clinical, to put it mildly. And Mattison then again has her hands on the ball. And that one is whacked as far down the field as Hannah Bluck physically can. Only as far as Corinne Grant there, and Sarah McKenna looks to get the pass away, but it's disrupted, and Worcester hacked through, but it's been lost forward by the Warriors, and a let off again for Saracens because Paige Farriers was herring after that one. There's Sydney Gregson there in shot as we come back now onto the scrum. Marley Packer just having a few words with the referee as well. You can see what Saracens are trying to do, but that defence from Worcester on the outside is doing what it needs to do at the moment and just sort of blunting the attack a little bit.
This is better by Kelsey. She was pinning her arm there, not letting her to take that chest.
And a clever little wraparound play in the end, and Aitchison goes searching for the space. And a brilliant offload, brilliant tip on, and Saracens back on the attack. There's Cleo with the carry. And Virvas to Harrison to Carson. Nearly managed to get the hands away, and Virvas again. Harrison, McKenna, so many touches already in this match for the fullback. And Packer takes it on herself. Cleo never takes a backward step, Poppy Cleo. Sydney Gregson then tries to get around the outside, tries to escape. Not quite able to, though. But Saracen still probing, still building, and a little dink over the top from Zoe Harrison. Taken brilliantly by Holly Aitchison. She gets the ball away to Kelsey Clifford, and Saracens back on the attack again. Referee just slightly in the way, but Saracens looking again for the opportunity. Fizzed wide superbly from Harrison, releasing Corinne Grant with a silky offload. and a brilliant score from the winger. Donna, that was fantastic.
That was a great team try. The ball was going through the hands for Corrine there to finish it off.
We were just talking about Corrine Grant a few moments ago, but what a couple of phases from Zoe Harrison, showing her international quality. First with that brilliant little dink over the top. Brilliantly taken by Holly Aitchison, gets it away to Kelsey Clifford. And then as the play just carried on, the wherewithal to fizz that ball right across the face to Cleo, and then really, really soft hands from Cleo to release the winger.
Do you know what I love there is our tight heads just there for that little offload.
Is that where you want to be when you're back on the field, getting those hands free?
I'll be scoring, I'll be under this try line.
Zoe Harrison then adds the extras, another really good conversion. 21-5 Saracens lead, and well, Donna, you said pre-match that that Kelsey was just keeping the shirt warm for you, but she's doing more than that so far this afternoon.
God, I got a fight on my hands, haven't I?
But that strength in depth is what we talk about all the time, having so many capable players in positions so that if the likes of yourself are sadly not able to be out on the field, brilliant players like Mackenzie, like Kelsey, like Mika and Alex on the bench today can just come in and pick up the shirt.
Yeah, it is. As a prop and having them amazing props, you'll be fighting for a shirt, and when I come back, I don't think it's going to be easy at all.
Saris then with their hands back on the ball. And that one goes long, taken by Mattison. And Worcester, oh, brilliant tip on there.
Great offload.
Unbelievable offload. Farries thought about getting the pass away to Wright Haley. Wright Haley slightly in front of us, sensibly holding on to it, and then Flo Long. Great carry from Flo Long. You don't see many people go over the top of May Campbell like that. And Kershaw and Bluck again, and Worcester building nicely here. Worcester have found the space. Tackle needed to be made, and Marley Packer was there at the crucial moment. Green Grant, that one's a little bit wobbly, a little bit bobbly, and it's gone into touch. And despite a brilliant read from Marley Packer, not the worst outcome for Worcester by any stretch of the imagination.
You know, Worcester have big runners as well, and I think what they did there was draw people in and then offload their backs there. That was great. That was a great bit of play from them.
And the pressure, importantly for the Warriors, staying on as well. And they get that maul working again, driving forward. They've not really used it to its full potential so far this afternoon. They've used it, as they're doing now, to feed those big ball carriers. And there's Bluck, big carry from the centre. But Marley Packer again comes away with it and then channels her into Zoe Harrison with some boot to clear it. May Campbell then looks to be the first one up there, unable to make the tackle, but then the Saracen support gets there, helps her out, and Worcester now hemmed back in their half. Penalty advantage for the Warriors as well there for an indiscretion at the breakdown. But I tell you what, as Mattison just throws caution to the wind there, that was some nudge from Marley Packer, and Zoe Harrison might be asking her for a few tips.
That was a really good nudge by Mar. Really, really good nudge.
Despite that brilliant nudge, though, it is a penalty for the Warriors. And they'll hem this one back down into the Saracens' half. Unless Lottie Clapp can keep it in play. And she does that brilliantly with a little pass out of the back. And then nearly a fantastic clearance kick back into touch. Mattison, though, responds. And Virvat has to go tracking back. And in the end, worked out brilliantly from Mattison. And looks like the 50-22 was on.
Great kick there.
50-22 was on. We can hear, yes, Katie Mack from the Worcester coaches behind us. And despite Lottie Clapp's heroics, in the end, Worcester Warriors exactly back where they want to be. Line out again, good from the Warriors.
great defence by Saracens.
Really good defence. And Worcester having to hunt for the ball. Skeldon comes away with it. Pulled to ground by Kelsey Clifford and Mattison. Cleal there with a clever little hand just to disrupt the scrum half, but Worcester still have the ball. And now Mattison is back in position. There's Brinkert with the ball. She's tackled hard this time. And there's Caris Cox and the ball going wide, and Bluck with a little chip over the top. And it's caught Sarah McKenna out, and Paige Farries, is she going to get it? She has.
Wow.
Fantastic again from Paige Farries, a brilliant read. And it's the bounce of a rugby ball. It does strange things, Donna.
That's the thing about Paige, she's got that magic, hasn't she?
She really does have that magic, Paige Farries. You could see her there almost just begging the ball to sit up for her. It's a really clever little kick through from Bluck. A really difficult one for McKenna to have to deal with. And by the time Farries was there, a little foot on it, and then a really, really good finish. And then actually, you know what? Fair play to the cameraman. A nice little bit of nimble footwork there to jump out of her way as well. Great play all round from everybody there. And Farries looks understandably delighted with that one. And Worcester again, right back in the match.
This is what I said in my before the match interview. You know, you can't rule Worcester out. They're always fighting back. They're a great squad.
And it's that belief that runs through this side as well. Jo Yap has been there a few years now. It's a side that really has her stamp on it. And 21-10 with the conversion, not quite having the legs. We talk about putting an imprint on a side. I just mentioned Jo Yap there, and there she is on the screen. This Worcester side, it sort of typifies her, really, doesn't it? Never giving up, never giving in, and fighting for absolutely every single inch. And that one then, a knock-on from Worcester, and Saracens straight back in the attacking area that they want to be in. Nearly half an hour on the clock. A really entertaining first half as well. And Virvas then with her hands on the ball. Been some really, really good play so far. And I think the one thing we've seen from Saracens, 2 tries from the forwards, 1 from the back. I saw a stat this week that did make me sort of stand up in shock, that Saracens have only scored 6 tries this season before today through the back so far. Corinne Grant then with the 7th, but it really shows just how important the work of that tight group of 8 is for everything that happens here in black and red. Virvas then gets that one away to Zoe Harrison, and Harrison inside ball to Aitchison, and a brilliant break from Lossie Clapp, brilliant tap tackle, and then a strip on the ball, and Bluck clears it, and Aitchison has to go herring back after this one alongside Harrison, McKenna. Zoe Harrison just head over heels there, has a little look around, gets used to where she is again. Wasn't quite sure with the ground suddenly above her for a split second, but they're back in the swing of things now, and Virvas just controlling things from the base. Marley Packer, that one looks slightly forward from Sydney Gregson, but play on. And now Gregson again puts her foot down and goes. Sydney Gregson's away here for Saracens. Goes through the first tackle, looks for Corinne Grant, can't find her. She's going for herself. Sydney Gregson, support running away from it, but she's back in possession. And Saracens back into the 22. And Virvas to Campbell.
Oh, what a bosh.
What a bosh indeed. More huge defensive action from the Warriors. And a little dink through again. Who's going to win the race? In the end, it's the ball. It bounces dead. But Sydney Gregson there, that was some line and some break. She just needed that support to stay with her.
Well, I think the support, she was running away. I think she was playing it with Corinne Grant there. But it was a fantastic line and a fantastic effort.
And the result of it, after all of that, will end up being a goal line dropout for the Warriors. But for Saracens, the fact that they are being able to exploit these spaces will be a really, really positive sign for Alex Alsterbury heading into half-time in 10 minutes or so's time. A little bit of time off here with a Warriors player receiving some treatment. And a little bit of work going into the leg there. Donna, 32 minutes on the clock, 3 tries to 2. Really entertaining game, actually, and crowd being treated to some fantastic running rugby.
Yeah, it's been back and forth. Like I said before, never rule Worcester out. They've got that fight, they've got that dog in it, and I love it.
Well, running repairs sorted. And it will be a Worcester 22 dropout to get us underway. Corinne Graham, unfortunate in the end there, looks down, saw the white line below her foot. You could see that little throw out of the hands in frustration. But a really good nudge actually from the Warriors as well, just to put that pressure on and make Grant have to really think about where she was. And there she is, coming back into shot, Corinne Grant. Line out then for the Warriors, taken well again in the middle, and Mattison away to Bluck quickly, and Bluck out the back and nearly through, but it's gone forward, and Poppy Cleo comes away with it, gets it out of the back of the hands, and Georgia Evans and Louise McMillan and Mackenzie Carson goes past long, goes nearly through Paige Farries. Farries does brilliantly to stop her, and Georgia Evans then.
Who needs backs, eh?
Oh, who needs backs? Louise McMillan, though, is away. Louise McMillan, brilliant turn of pace. And Saracens are in for their 4th. It's Louise McMillan's 2nd. And that, Donna Rose, was an absolute streamer. As you said, who needs backs?
That was great. That was good. These tries are a great team effort today. It's not just one person standing up. The whole team is standing up.
And look at that. Louise McMillan can see the legs going, the arms reaching out. And that turn of pace, you have to say, so impressive.
She's actually quite quick, isn't she?
I think she surprised you a little bit there with that turn of pace.
Didn't know if it was her or Sydney.
Louise McMillan certainly making a name for herself in these parts.
Oh, I think she's been a great signing for us this season. I think she does all the dog work. She's great.
Zoe Harrison keeping up her 100% record from the tee. 4 from 4 and 28-10 the score for Saracens. 4 tries to 2. Bonus point in the bag.
The score, Saracens 28, Worcester Warriors 10.
And Worcester Warriors have been really impressive, but Saracens have been really clinical. 4 opportunities in the 22 and 4 tries. And that's the sort of direct play that Alex Orsby will be really pleased to have seen so far. Ball bobbling around, lost forward again though, and for the 2nd time this afternoon, we talk about those errors or lack of errors after a try has been scored, and it's handling again, they're not quite as Saracens would have wanted it. And after all of that, a scrum again for Worcester, back in the Saracens 22 again.
It's by Kelsey here. Oh, she's lifted her arm up. Oh!
Penalty though for Saracens, and Ella Virvas has seen some space and has gone quickly here. And Aitchison and Gregson gets on the outside arc to Corinne Grant, bobbles it, holds onto it well. Saracens though have lost the ball forward, and Worcester come away with it. And in the end, a knock on. Abby Kershaw has the ball in her hands, and it will be a scrum for Worcester. But that was a real statement from Saracens at that last scrum, Donna. We've not seen much of it so far this half, but the pack, we've seen what they can do in the loose, but the nitty-gritty there in the front row as well.
Yeah, I was a bit worried there that Kelsey let her have her chest in the end, but she's such a strong little ball, bless her.
Strong little ball, that's some way of describing Kelsey Clifford. Powerhouse in the front row, and still just 21 years old as well. Despite all of that though, it is a scrum for the Warriors. And the ball went backwards in the end, but Paige Farries has to tidy up for her side. Marley Packer making a nuisance of herself there, and Saracens all over that at the breakdown and coming away with it. So a real arm wrestle on the ball there. It's come back on the Worcester side, and there is an opportunity here, and it's Wright Haley that sets off, ducks through the first tackle, keeps going. So powerful, so industrious.
May Campbell there trying to get that rip.
And she's done it really successfully as well for her side, and they've come away with the ball.
Sydney is very feisty. It's great to have her in the backs.
Let's just talk a little bit about Sydney Gregson then, as Zoe Harrison absolutely leathers that one down the field. And then a knock-on from Worcester as well. She's done so well to come back from that injury that ruled her out for pretty much the whole of last season. Little setback again after making her comeback against Bristol in the Cup, but like you said, so feisty and such an important player for this group.
She's definitely important to this group. She's, you know, as soon as she found out I had a knee injury, she messaged me and got behind me straight away, there for advice and everything. Injury did set her back, but I think mentally she's very strong, and she came back better.
I suppose that's the thing you want from any player, isn't it? Injuries, setbacks, a lot, but you come back better, you come back stronger. And I know from your perspective and from the Saracens' perspective as well, that's what everybody will be hoping when you're able to pull on that black and red shirt again. Vieras then puts that one in. And it's bouncing about, and Farries is away. She thinks she's in for a hat-trick.
Oh, I like watching Paige. She's got a bit of magic about her. She's like the showman.
She really is a showman, but that had just come off a Worcester hand. Farries there looks so disappointed. She thought she was away again. But that is half-time. A little bit early, it looked like, on our clock, I think.
Is it half-time?
A little bit of a confusing end to that half, but that is half-time. Both sides then heading into the changing rooms. A slightly confused end to that one in the end, Donna, but 28-10 at half-time. A really entertaining game, and well, we can get back into the swing of things now. How would you assess how that one's gone?
I think, you know, we've come out fighting and hungry. Just some silly errors, really, letting balls bounce. And then the greatest showman picks it up, really. Yeah, but I think it's been a fantastic game to watch, and I'm excited for the second half.
Well, talked about the entertainment factor there. Let's look through some of those highlights from that first half. And we'll start with this. Kelsey Clifford's try on her 50th appearance. Brilliant play round the back. And Poppy Cleal popping it off for the prop to power through. And then this second try, Saracens tried it again with Marley Packer coming round the corner. But Louise McMillan doing all she can to pick it up, reach out those long levers and get the ball down for her side. A brilliant score from McMillan there, her first of the match. And then Worcester hit back with this, and it has to be said, sumptuous score from Paige Farries. Saw the space, went straight through, and there was no stopping. Worcester was not particularly keen on them, it had to be said, but he will be pretty keen and pretty happy with what he's seen from his side in that first 40 minutes.
It's quiet in the changing rooms, as in he's not shouting and I can't hear him, so it must be going well.
How does that work in the changing rooms then, that dynamic, what people don't see on the screens in terms of those messages at half-time?
I think Alex comes in and he's very honest with us. He doesn't beat around the bush, he's just very honest. He's got that winning ways, hasn't he? So he's comes in, tells us what we need to do, and we hopefully go out and finish the job for him.
Well, they've certainly been doing the job so far. One other thing for us to mention at this point, we've talked about the duel a lot today, but one thing we haven't mentioned is a fantastic opportunity for all of you listening in and watching on at home. If you purchase a ticket for the duel today on saracens.com, and by today I mean by 23:59:59, basically do it before midnight, then you will automatically be entered into a competition to win an opportunity to meet the players at the training ground and here at the stadium. It's a fantastic opportunity for all of those who purchased their tickets today, and a wonderful chance to come and meet the likes of Donna, Marley, Zoe, and everybody else that's part of this Saracens squad. And Donna, whilst we're just waiting for the players to come back out, those links with the fans that are being built here at Saracens, as much as what happens on the field is fantastic, it's all about that synergy with the fans and what they bring to as well to the team.
Absolutely. I think the fans give us that extra 10%, and you know, the fans live by the Saracens way as well. They go to the men's, they go to the women's, you know, they love the men's, they love the women's. We're just the family. Yeah, the fans, great. They give us that extra 10. Absolutely.
And Saracens Mavericks netball as well, part of that Saracens family. They kick off, I say kick off, shouldn't say that with netball. Their first centre pass of the season is on the 11th of February at the season opener for the Netball Super League at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham. Their first proper home match of the season is a week later against Leeds Rhinos at Hertfordshire Sports Village. Seasonal memberships of the Mavericks are still available on saracens.com, as well as individual match tickets. And Donna, we're talking about the family there, as you said, but with Mavericks as well, they come down, they watch the games. I've seen a couple of the Saracens women's players, the likes of Chloe Langdale, that have been going to their pre-season fixtures as well, and really keeping together as a solid group here at Saracens.
Yeah, when I said family, I forgot to mention. Sorry, netball. I'll be with you soon anyway, because I can't do contact, so I need to throw a ball around somewhere. Yeah, it's great. You know, all three teams, and you know, we've got the school, we've got the academy. We've got everything at this club. We're quite a decent club, isn't it? So, but yeah, like I said, we're one big happy family, unless we lose.
It really is one big family, and well, here is a family of 15 making their way back out onto the field. Saracens women returning for the start of the second half, and Worcester Warriors as well. And that familiar run-on music being blared out around the PA systems here. There's Marley Packer having a laugh, having a joke with Holly Aitchison. They'll both be happy with their work so far this afternoon. It'll be Worcester Warriors who get us back underway. No changes for either side at half-time. And we just wait for referee Holly Wood to blow her whistle. And there it is. Abby Kershaw gets us back underway. Marley Packer, all smiles before the restart, but straight back into the nitty-gritty of it there. May Campbell with a tip on to Mackenzie Carson. And that one has gone high, and it's bouncing all over the place, and Lottie Clapp is there, but a brilliant offload away to Mattison, and she ducks and weaves away from Marley Packer, eventually pulled to ground. And Worcester without their scrum half at the moment. Strong tackle coming in, but Worcester doing well to align and reset for Mattison to get back into position. Oh, Kershaw there has been absolutely melted by Kelsey Clifford. Great shot, and the fly half did really well to get the ball away. Holly Aitchison, though, has the ball, returns that one with in kind, and that one bounces and bobbles into touch. Worcester, though, play it quickly, straight over the heads of Clapp and McKenna, looking to inject some pace into this one, and they set off in the middle of the field. It's Caris Cox there that's made really, really good yards for her side. And Worcester just content to press, build, probe. Farry's the danger woman there with a little inside ball to Cox again. And Worcester going down that narrow short side right. Haley gets her hands on the ball, goes through that tackle from Viervas. Mattison and the tip on, but the tip on's gone forward straight into the hands of Kelsey Clifford. And Saracens just slightly slow to react, to Marley Packer then off to Evans. Skeldon looks for the rip, can't quite get it, and Harrison chips that one in behind, and there is a real race on here, and it's a bouncing ball, and Aitchison was after it, so was Clapp. And I tell you what, Worcester there, that was Hannah Bluck again, has done brilliantly to get out of that sticky situation for her side. The penalty for Saracens, holding on. Brilliant work by Georgia Evans. Evans probably be a little bit disappointed that the referee's whistle went there. She thought she was away.
So there's a half-time substitution for Worcester Warriors.
She is a turnover queen, RG. Just beyond Marley, I think.
Just beyond Marley. A change for Worcester Warriors there as well. Sarah Nicholas coming on for Hannah Bluck. And that kick from Zoe Harrison, pretty much as close to perfection, 5 metres out from the line. May Campbell then waiting for her forwards pack to go through their last minute discussions. Not supposed to be seeing as much of that this side of the new year. Laws being amended now to make sure that they don't take ages over the set piece. A brilliant little move there from Saracens though. Cleo coming round the corner looking to release Campbell.
Is she having another one?
Is Kelsey Clifford there for another one? Not quite. Saracens inches out from the line, but they are there that time.
Who's that? May. Shock.
Shock, says Donna Rose. Who else but May Campbell? Kelsey Clifford got a try early on in the first half for her 50th. May Campbell saw that and went, I fancy some of that myself at the start of the second half, Donna.
Showing off now, isn't it?
It was definitely May Campbell there, picking, going. Georgia Evans with the support for her.
May's so cool, calm and collective. Look at her. Doesn't faze her anymore.
She really is. Just seems to pop up all the time at those crucial moments to go over for those scores. And already, Zoe Harrison's first miss of the afternoon drifts just to the right of the uprights. Already 8 tries in the league this season, 14 in league and cup. I don't quite know what the club record is for the most tries in a competitive season, but May Campbell must be fancying herself to get close to it, the rate she's going at the moment. Worcester then will get us back underway. Miscommunication by Packer and McIntosh, and Worcester with the knock-on advantage back up on the Saracens 22 pretty much instantly, and there's Skeldon. And there's Sarah Nicholas new onto the field. Stopping, going, checking. Mattison under all sorts of pressure there. And May Campbell looking to hold her up in contact. Sydney Gregson in there as well, Mackenzie Carson. And it's come back on the Saracen side. Marley Packer is away, and Aitchison now puts boot to ball, and that one is for Lottie Clapp to chase. There is space in behind, and Farries has let it bounce, and Clapp is tearing after this one, puts the pressure in, forces the knock on as well from Farries. Probably the first mistake she's made this afternoon, Donna, but a brilliant outcome for Saracens. A great chase from Lottie Clapp, and yeah, like we said, Paige Farries hasn't done a lot wrong this afternoon.
I think Lottie's chase there will really put pressure on her, and I think that's why she's making mistakes. She's double taking there and giving herself a knock on.
And the announcer here at the stadium correcting themselves. May Campbell with the try, and those Scottish pipes coming out over the tannoy. How many times have we heard those this season? At least the likes of Corrine, Jodie and Louise will feel right at home with those being played as well. It's a Saracen scrum though, and Virvas, Mattison hunts her down well, but she gets it away to Harrison. And there's Aitchison to McKenna. McKenna's tackled well, but Aitchison back for the offload and jumps away from McKenna and then goes head down into contact. A penalty though for Worcester, holding on. You can see the celebrations there. It's number 7, Charlotte Wright Haley with the turnover. Sarah McKenna and Charlotte Wright-Haley just having a couple of little choice words of each other there, and as I say, you can hear the ding ding there on the PA announcer. Enjoyed that one. We mentioned it before the game, but a little bit of a reshuffle in that back row for the Warriors this afternoon. Alex Callender had been due to start, unfortunately had to withdraw late last night.
Whatever the reason being, I wish her well and I hope she's okay.
A mate of yours as well, and a phenomenal player when she's on the field.
Feisty she is. Feisty.
Feisty is the word, and feisty is the word for a lot of what we've seen out on the field so far today as Lydia Thompson clap pulls her to ground. But Worcester are back up to that Saracens 22 now.
Great tackle there by G.
Georgia Evans then doing what she needs to do, but Worcester still pressing, still probing, and Lydia Thompson.
I'm loving this battle between Lydia and Lottie.
It's been a really, really good matchup actually, hasn't it? Two incredibly experienced players and both of them really going at it.
That was a great tackle by Ella there.
Really good tackle from Ella Viervas. And Worcester a little bit at sixes and sevens.
Rips.
And it's been rips, and Aitchison did well. Gregson came away with it, and Donna, I can hear you laughing.
I don't know who was tackling who there.
Both of them weren't quite sure, but anyway, the outcome was a clearance kick from Saracens, and Worcester have their hands on the ball, but they've lost significant metres. And Mattison tries a little dink over the top. We saw what that did last time, and it's, well, a little bit of confusion, a little bit of a play on, and in the end, a knock on and a scrum. Worcester's coaches up next to us there, Don. I think that one should have been a penalty for an accidental offside. Zoe Harrison just down with her arm in the air, asking for a little bit of treatment. How did you see that one there? It's going to be a scrum for Worcester, but how did you see it?
I feel like Worcester are panicking a little bit when they're in their half. They're kind of like kicking away the ball and yeah, I don't know. They're just panicking a little bit.
Let's just have a little look at this replay here as Zoe Harrison receives some treatment. It's such an uncharacteristic one from her.
She has had a couple of knocks at training, hence why she wasn't playing last week. But I think she'll be okay. She's a fighter.
Fighter, she definitely is. A couple of players then receiving treatment at the moment across the field for both sides. There's been an awful lot of ball in play so far, it has to be said, and perhaps some of the pack and Mackenzie Carson there just starting to feel it a little bit.
Yeah, the forwards, you know, you'll see them changes starting to come on. It's nearly 50 on. You'll see definitely the front row. I think they've been, especially Kelsey Clifford. Wow, she's had a game and a half.
There's Alex Austerbury then pacing around in the coach's box. I wonder what he'll be making of what he's seen so far. All players though, running repairs complete and good to return to play. It will be a scrum though for the Warriors.
Oh, this is a great angle. We can see Mac here and how she's going.
That's a perfect position for you to cast your eye over the front rows.
Her positioning there was okay, to be fair. I think she was sitting flow back on her back foot, really.
Just speak to us a little bit more about Mackenzie Carson then and that sort of transition into the front row. How hard is it to get used to those dark arts and those structures?
Well, when I came to Saracens, I had a year in the dev, and it took me. I'm still learning now. I think every day, when you transition into a front row, you know, you're learning every day. Definitely. Mackenzie is a great physical rugby player. She's from hooker to back row, but now she's given a shot at loose head, which isn't that bad. And third game in, I think she's holding her own.
It's all a little bit messy, all a little bit harem-scarum in there, and a knock-on from Saracens, a knock-on from Worcester, and we'll come back pretty much as you were. It'll be a scrum for the Warriors, a knock-on from Saracens first, and going to be brutally honest, it was a little bit of a messy scrum and a little bit of a messy phase after that, so at least both packs got a bit of a chance now to correct that.
I think Ella's going off there for Leanne, which that isn't a bad replacement, is it?
It really isn't, is it? To have, we talked about that strength in depth in the first half, but Ella Viervas, again, still such a young player, but being replaced by Leanne Infante, England international, started her first game back for the club last week against Exeter, and as you said, not a bad sub to bring on by any stretch of the imagination. Ella Viervas then on screen putting on a subs jacket. Don't blame her for doing that at all. It is a bitterly cold one today, despite the clear skies and the sun. Worcester scrum though.
That's great from Mackenzie there, holding that scrum up.
Really good work from Mackenzie, but really good play from Worcester as well. And Lydia Thompson has won that little individual battle there with Lossie Clapp and Sarah McKenna. And in fact, she sent Clapp all the way back onto her bum. And Worcester then into the Saracens 22 temporarily, and there's Kershaw feeding Joe Brown. And there's Caris Cox, and there is space here for Worcester, and they flung it wide. Let's see what they can do. And it's Lana Skeldon, an advantage coming out from the referee. Worcester realigning, keeping themselves going after that knock on there from a Saracen's hand.
I'd like to see that again, to see if she did that in the tackle.
And I say, it did look deliberate, I've got to be honest, and we'll see. I think the referee is playing a penalty advantage. Amelia Buckland-Hurry also has made her way off the field for Elizabeth Shermer, and we will come back for that penalty. Referee having a discussion as well. So a deliberate knock-on from Zoe Harrison, the decision, and yeah, that was clear as day.
Yeah.
Just a penalty though, nothing more. But Worcester pumped that one into the corner, and an opportunity to try and push back and get their third try on the board.
Well done, Kelsey Clifford. You've done yourself proud, mate.
Two more changes then for Saracens as well. Alex Ellis coming on for 50 cap Kelsey Clifford, and Jess Breach coming on for Corrine Grant as well. Well done, Kelsey Clifford, you said there, Donna. Some shifts from her again this afternoon. Worcester wasting no time though as those two players make their way off the field, and they're 5 metres out. Penalty advantage coming. Georgia Evans collapsing that one.
Oh, hold up.
And Worcester are right up to the line. The ball is in there somewhere.
Oh.
No advantage coming though, and we'll come back for that penalty. Really good defence on the line from Saracens, but Worcester knew they had that free shot. Back in to the corner then go the Warriors. And they set them all again.
It's great defence. They're going to spin that round, are they? Yeah.
Another penalty advantage, this time against Poppy Cleal. They're mounting up here. And Worcester still with that penalty advantage, as you can hear there from Hollywood, moving closer and closer to the line. And it's going to be a yellow card for Poppy Cleal. Collapsing the maul the second time in quick succession, and for Poppy Cleal a second yellow card in as many games. Worcester go back to the corner. It's really good defence from Saracens, Donna, right up on the line, but it's just errors in and around the line out at the moment that are allowing Worcester to keep them hemmed into this area.
I just think it's discipline, really. Great defence. We get low, we hold them in, you know, and you've. Here we go again.
Here we go again. Let's see what happens. Worcester are motoring here.
Yeah,
And they're down. It's Lana Skeldon with the try. And in the end, there felt like a sense of inevitability about that one. A deserved third score for the Warriors.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, Saracens are putting all their heads in there and not guarding the edges. If you do that, you're always going to have a hooker scoring.
And just look at this here. A perfectly set driving maul. And Skeldon released and able to flop over the line without anybody touching her, really, in the end. Pretty much inch perfect from the Warriors, and following in Karis Phillips's footsteps after her hat-trick last week against DMP.
Yeah, if you watch here, you see Alex hit it, but she spins it at the same time, and it's given Worcester there a helping hand, really, to turn it. In situations like that, you've got to keep straight. Dig your feet in.
Conversion then being lined up. That one again just drifts wide, but 33-15 the scoreline here, 57 minutes on the clock, and Worcester only one try away from the try bonus point. There's Poppy Cleal on the screen, perhaps just reliving that moment in her head. And the referee just having a chat with Marley Packer and asking her to remind her team about the values in the red zone in terms of penalty concession. Zoe Harrison then restarts. Marley Packer herring after that one with Lossie Clapp, and Clapp does really well to sieve down Lydia Thompson. Thompson, though, wasn't held, manages to get up and away.
She's a big physical winger, isn't she, Lydia Thompson? It's great to see her back in a shirt.
She really is, Lydia Thompson, a fantastic, fantastic player and a fantastic servant to the English game as well. Sarah McKenna, another one of those who has been so good for the Red Roses over years and years, as well as Saracens. Carson, though, to Evans.
Great line by Evans.
Brilliant line. Saracens penalty, though. Tackler not rolling away. And this seems to be becoming a little bit of a pattern here this afternoon for both teams, Donna. Just as soon as they score, they give up a penalty or a knock-on in and around their 22 and just invite the pressure back onto themselves. Harrison then puts that one into touch. And there's May Campbell.
She's got a double what Kelsey did. Kelsey scored one, she's got to score two. She's got double what Kelsey's got.
You wouldn't put it past May Campbell to try and bag herself another try this afternoon.
Fast. Yeah.
Let's have a look then. There's the driving maul. She's holding on to it. Infante is there with her. It's motoring forward. It's 5 metres out.
Drop your shoulder. Oh, no, what's Nine doing?
Lossie Clapp joining her as well in there, and it's creeping up to the line. It's still the same maul, says the referee.
Here we are.
Penalty advantage for a side entry, and it's been flipped out in the end, and it's not May Campbell, but it is Leanne Infante, her first try back in Saracens colours, and a really clever little read there after that maul had sort of pretty much died a death.
Yeah, great little spin there to get that score. Well done, Leanne. Welcome home.
Look at it here then. Worcester did really well. I know they gave up the penalty, but did really well to disrupt it. But then Infante versus Mattison, just looking at it here, she had the awareness, and by the time she'd spun out of that space, there was very little that Katie Mattison could do about that one.
Yeah, I think everyone's switched off because they knew that there was a pen coming. Everyone switched off. Leanne took advantage of that.
She definitely did take advantage of that one. Now, can Zoe Harrison take advantage off the tee as well? Yes, she can. Do you ever doubt Zoe Harrison? Superb conversion we hear from the PA here at the stadium. I think that sums it up. That is a very fair call. 5 from 6 from the tee for Zoe Harrison, and we see those fans waving their flags next to the fantastic Saracens Pioneers, and they'll be really pleased and really happy with what they've seen so far from their side with 20 minutes left of the match. Confusion again at the restart, and this time it is a penalty against Saracens, a knock-on and then offside. The referee just explains that to both sets of players. We talked about it becoming a bit of a pattern, and it's continuing to be that. And Worcester straight back into the 22. In fact, pretty much as close to the try line as they can possibly be from Sarah Nicholas. And they will be hunting after that fourth try here.
Oh, hang on. Karis is on.
There we go, Karis Phillips into the fray.
Stat queen.
A hat-trick last week against DMP.
Go on.
Worcester are going, Worcester are scoring, and they have that fourth try.
Absolutely great try there.
Charlotte Wright-Haley it is who's gone over. Donna, as you said, absolutely great try, and again, it seems to be the theme in this match. Really, really clever disguise off of a set play.
Yeah, she had the choice to have Karis Phillips outside of there, but she took it herself, which was a smart move. She saw that gap, she took it.
And under pressure as well, May Campbell was doing absolutely everything in her power to stop her. And just look here, throws that dummy. Marley Packer unable to do anything about it, and May Campbell clinging on for dear life, but not able in the end to stop the flanker. And Worcester, regardless of what happens in this last little under 20 minutes, will come away with something for their efforts this afternoon. Conversion, though, drifts wide again, so it's 40 points to 20, 6 tries to 4. We're being treated to an absolute try-fest so far this afternoon, aren't we?
It's a really good game for women's rugby.
Fantastic game for women's rugby. It's ebbed, it's flowed. And Poppy Cleal then still has 3 minutes left in the bin, let's not forget as well. Worcester then coming away from the restart, something Saracens weren't able to do, and that's what allowed them to score their fourth. McKenna lets it bounce, and she's under all sorts of pressure. Then Marley Packer tips it on to Mackenzie Carson, and Mackenzie Carson searching for support, but it wasn't there, and in the end Worcester come away with it, but then Saracens win the penalty for holding on. And Harrison then will whack this one as deep into Worcester territory as she can. We mentioned it as well at half-time, but we'll mention it again just as the line-out is getting set, and Grace Moore's made her way onto the field as well. Make sure to purchase your tickets for the duel, the next home match here at StoneX Stadium on the 18th of February against Harlequins, London's biggest rivalry. It's tickets on saracens.com, £5 for under 16s and £10 for adults, but also an unbelievable opportunity if you purchase your ticket today to come and meet the squad at a training session as well before the match.
You can see here Fee Lewis is on now. She brings a lot of intent and great pass.
And again, a player that you know very well from Wales as well, Fee Lewis. Line out time though for Saracens with Grace Moore in there as well. It's a bit of a mess, but it's tidied up by Fee McIntosh, and Marley Packer does brilliantly to get that one off the floor to Infante, and Harrison just checks back inside. And you can see it's an absolute fight there on the floor.
Oh,
A brilliant
beautiful
try.
Beautiful try there.
That was sumptuous, and Jess Breach has her second try in Saracens colours, I should say. Donna, you described that one as beautiful. I'm going to go a step further. That was an absolute work of art.
Holly Aitchison with her crossfield kicks is phenomenal.
Well, look at this from Aitchison, absolutely on the money. Jess Breach collects it and then comes through like a freight train. There's no stopping Jess Breach from that far out. And we saw that from Holly Aitchison against Exeter last week, obviously on the wrong side of the result, but two brilliant, clever kicks through for Lottie Clapp's two tries, and we've seen it again there.
Yeah, Holly's a great player. She's got great vision of the game, and she's so calm, collective. I love playing up with her.
She's just one of those players that seems to always have time on the ball and always seems to see things sort of half a second or a second before they actually happen.
Yeah, she's got great vision.
Harrison converts again. And Poppy Cleal is back on for her side as we see Breach there rounding, grounding, scoring, and Saracens 47, Worcester 20. With 13 minutes to go, and Sharifa Kasolo is on the field as well. Oh. That...
Just karate rolled.
Karate roll, but Campbell manages to get her hands on the ball. A penalty advantage coming as well, and a penalty for Saracens. And Infante's gone quickly, wanting to inject more pace into it, and there's Grace Moore, and Grace Moore only knows one way, and Grace Moore is going forward. Grace Moore still going, brilliant tackle, but she gets the offload away to Infante. Infante is inches away from the line. Have Sarries got what they need for a second and quick advantage? May Campbell looking for her second, short the call. And yes, they do. It's Grace Moore. She started it there with that break and that offload to Infante. And Saracens, well, I could hardly keep up there. They've hit the half century and two brilliant tries in as many minutes. Grace Moore there with the try. Donna, another player who has joined this season and has been such a physical presence in this side, whether it's starting or coming off the bench.
Yeah, Grace, you know, she's physical. I think she's got a lot to learn, but once she's learned that, I think she'll be great.
Plays across the back row as well, Grace Moore, and works for the fantastic Saracens Foundation here as well. Zoe Harrison adds another 2 to her personal tally for the afternoon.
I'm excited to see Sharifa. She's an excellent back rower. She's only been playing for a short while, and she once she knows the game, she's really gonna do great.
Alex Austerbury described her at the start of the season as really a rough diamond, and you can see there with that take from the restart, just the natural rugby ability.
Oh.
Worcester then put boot to ball, and there's plenty of space.
Yeah, that's really good kick.
Taken well by Harrison. Isla Alejandro is on the field now for Saracens as well. Both sides making wholesale changes. And there's Kasolo again, carrying hard into contact. Could hear you getting excited there, Donna. Kasolo nearly a fantastic offload, but it just drifted forward. It will be a Worcester scrum. But again, what really impressed Alex Austerbury here is that, yes, his side are ahead, but They're not taking their foot off the gas. They're continuing to press and probe and see what they can do.
And that's why the cup is important, to bring these players up and give them a chance. Coming off the bench is hard, but these players can really come off the bench. It showed last week against Exeter too, that they brought intent.
Just confirming those changes then. Isla Alejandro is onto the field as well, and Mika Gooding coming on for Mackenzie Carson. Jodie Retty as well coming on for May Campbell, so she won't be able to get her second try of the day, but she still has managed to get a try on her 100th appearance for the club. Great angle there of Fee Lewis looking to put the ball in, and there it goes. Saracens looking to get the push on at the scrum, but use it the call, and Worcester do just that and release Paige Farries, and Farries is gone, and Farries a brilliant draw. It's Deborah Wills, formerly of these parts, powers up to 5 metres out from the line. And there's Kershaw as well. So this is the game that just keeps giving in terms of attacking intent from both sides.
Oh, she's ran into her shoulder there.
Ooh. Penalty then goes against Poppy Cleo, and Donna, I could hear you let out a gasp there.
I think she ran into the shoulder of one of the players.
High tackle is the call. Wouldn't want to look at that one again in a hurry. But Worcester with the penalty for a high tackle, and they've gone to the corner. We saw what happened when they went there last time. Let's see what happens this time then. Karis Phillips, but it's been overthrown. Saracens chase it up.
The lifters just didn't lift then. I don't think it was overthrown. I just think the lifters are tired.
Well, like we said, it's one of those where, and that's a really good boot down the field from Saracens for Worcester to try and tidy up. The ball in play time in this game, as that one drifts out on the full, has been absolutely enormous, and it's no surprise that it has taken its toll a little bit on some of the decision making for the players.
Yeah, definitely. They must be tired out there. They've been non-stop running around that field. Again, I feel sorry for hookers. They do get the blame for overthrows, but sometimes it could be a lifters or jumpers.
Fee McIntosh then, quick ball off the top. Donna, I'm going to give you a little bit of a cue. In a couple of minutes' time, I'm going to ask you for your player of the match. That's a sumptuous offload to Sydney Gregson, but the ball just evades that final player. Knock-on advantage. Donna, I'll give you a few more minutes to have a think about it, but who's impressed you so far today?
Kelsey Clifford, fellow tight head. She's done amazing today on her 50th. She's really stood up. Like I said, she's only 21 years old. She's got such a long way to go, and she's going to be amazing. She is amazing now, so imagine what she'll be in a year or two.
High praise indeed there for Kelsey Clifford.
Also paid for Worcester. I want to give her a shout out. She, like I said, like the greatest showman, she's got such magic and flair with her. I love it.
Well, a bit of flair there, and Sydney Gregson spots the gap, shows, goes, reaches out, and she's over. Well, you talked about the greatest showman, you talked about the added flair. Sydney Gregson with her second try in as many home games as well. And Saracens putting on a show in this final 10 minutes. Sydney Gregson there, you can see it, bursts through a lovely little hitch kick just to take her away from the final tackler. Brilliant pass from Zoe Harrison, and then Gregson just ears back. Worcester overcommits slightly with with Poppy Cleo on the outside, and there were 3 fans there who looked very happy with that try from Sydney.
See the ball going through Saracens' hands. It's, you know, the forward pack are very dominant, but they can also offload.
I think that's the thing that we've seen today that's been so good, and you have to say from both teams actually, has been that offloading ability in contact. It's really, really added to the game as well. And like you said, forwards, backs, all chipping in, all showing what they can do, and showing the importance of that handling.
It's also great to watch, great rugby.
It really is great rugby to watch, and Wills then tried to get her mitt on the ball, just lost it forward. But if you've enjoyed what you've watched with us this afternoon at the StoneX, make sure you get your tickets next time we are here on the 18th of February for the duel. London's biggest rivalry, one of the biggest games of the season here at StoneX Stadium, no doubt at all. A penalty though for Saracens there. Off feet at the breakdown, the call from Hollywood. Just under 5 minutes to go here, and Jodie Ressi directly in front of us, just inside the Worcester Warriors half. But that one is stolen at the front by Cara Brinker. She's another player that's had a really good game today, alongside Wright Haley in that back row.
Big carry there by Karis Phillips. It's good to see the ball in her hand.
I think it's always good from a Worcester perspective to see Karis Phillips with her hands on the ball. And a break through the middle there from Worcester, and it's Wright Haley again who's away.
That's a great line.
It's a brilliant line. The game might be done for Worcester, but
This is what I said at the start. They've got the heart and passion for it.
they really do. The character coming through in everything that the Warriors have done this afternoon. And still probing, pressing, looking for the 5th try of the afternoon. But it's come away into Saracens' hands, and Moore tipped that one on to Cleo. Infante looking for the ball, and Zoe Harrison spins that one to Aitchison, and Aitchison
It's on the outside there.
outside. Nyla Alejandro has broken free. Jess Breach trying to stay in support. Breach thought she was away. Paige Farry's brilliant tackle to force the knock on. Breach for a second there, thought she was in for her second of the afternoon, but Paige Farry's, we've seen what she can do in attack this afternoon. That's what she can give you in defence as well. Look at this replay. Isla Alejandro, brilliant, brilliant break from the substitute. Breach trying so hard to stay in the supporting line, and Farry's just hounding her and probing her and forcing her to take the line she wanted to. Right then, Donna, it's a scrum for Worcester, deep in their 22. There's 2 minutes to go. I think this is a perfect time to ask you, who are you going to give the player of the match to this afternoon?
Like I said, Paige is really shunning this game, and sorry there, that scrum got my... Yeah, so a big shout out to Paige, but this player who I'm choosing, she does all the dog work, and she scored 2 tries today, so Louise McMillan.
Louise McMillan, your player of the match. Player of the match against Wasps earlier in the season as well. On a bit of a hot streak at the moment in terms of appearing in the Premier 15's team of the week as well.
She's a great sign-in for us. I've said it earlier. She's really good, and she's a really good, positive person to be around as well.
And she just, like you said, she just seems like a really bubbly character. Penalty advantage for Saracens at the scrum. Let's see what happens here then. Harrison to Aitchison. Can Saracens finish with another final flourish here? Casolo
Go on, Sharif.
wraps up well, but she gets the ball away to Poppy Cleal, and there's no stopping Poppy Cleal from that distance. Saracens will go beyond 60 points. They will get their 9th try, and Poppy Cleal, I suppose, will be happy with that and redeeming herself for that yellow card earlier in the match. But look at this one then. Casolo with a brilliant break, offloaded to Cleal, and as much as Cara Brinker tried there, you just don't stop a player with the power of Poppy Cleal that close to the line.
Sharif there pumping her legs to break that tackle. You know, she's going to be great.
So this will be the final act of the game then. Can Zoe Harrison finish with a flourish off the tee? Not quite, it hits the post from Harrison, but that is full time here at StoneX Stadium. It's Saracens 64, Worcester Warriors 20.